A lot of directors already have been recognized for putting their own little flares on comic book movies. But if you get to make a Batman movie, that is what you will be remembered for by a lot of film fans. After waiting 5 years since Dawn of Planet of the Apes, Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers have finally given us the dark, brooding vigilante we've all been waiting for, the Batman. I like Matt Reeves as a director. He makes pretty fun, entertaining blockbusters. There's something a little bit more mature to them, at least in my opinion. And it's also nice just to see how he is going to approach this Batman character. Tim Burton gave us a Batman that's remote and chilling and an eerie and artistic, stylized Gotham City. Joel Schumacher then made that a little bit campier and more colorful, and more so not in a good way. Christopher Nolan then gave us a more contemporary Batman that uses a bit more tech in the suit and just with its fighting styles, and the filmmaking is inspired by Michael Mann movies. Zack Snyder gave us an older Batman that's heavy on mechanics and brute force, and Chris McKay gave us a Lego movie that shows it's okay not to work alone. And even though all of these Batmans might have been approached differently, there's at least something interesting going on with the Batman lore, and it seems like they're at least doing something right. Some directors might explore some aspects more than others, but in the end, they're still Batman, they're still dark, they're still brooding, they're still depressed, they still need therapy. It all still feels a little bit of the same. And I mean, Batman is a fun character. I think he's really interesting, and I love seeing all interpretations of him, whether it's in comic books, video games, shows, movies, maybe a musical. I'm always fascinated to see how they're going to handle him. And this time Reeves is giving us a young detective Batman. There may have been some mystery solving in other Batman movies, but it is not like this. Reeves made this a gritty police procedural movie first, and then an action movie second. There's a lot of inspirations from David Fincher's Seven and Zodiac. It really fits that aesthetic. The detective work and clue solving fits in with those movies, and it also pays homage to the Humphrey Bogart noirs. The Riddler has unhinged social media live stream rants, and he also uses cruel traps, which feel like they come out of like the Saw franchise. So that means there's a lot of darkness and a lot of problem solving mixed in with the Batman lore, and it feels like a nice take for this character. This movie has a lot of inspiration from Frank Miller's Year One story, which explains why we are having a younger Batman. It's a nice change of pace because we don't have to see an origin story. We still get to see struggles from Batman, whether that involves with personal issues or when it comes to combat, that can still feel like a rookie mistake. There's also a lot more Batman in this movie than Bruce Wayne. This Wayne doesn't show up to events, doesn't show up to parties, anything like that. He's too busy trying to solve this investigation in his Batcave. And even though there isn't a whole lot of Bruce Wayne, I thought Robert Pattinson did great as Wayne and Batman. When he's in the suit, he comes off as chaotic and threatening. When he slowly walks out of a dark corner and he enters some area or a room, the entire atmosphere changes immediately. And that's not just because of Pattinson's great performance. That also has to do with Reeves and cinematographer Greg Fraser. The lighting feels perfect, the blacks truly feel dark, and colors like orange and red really pop out. The use of camera rigs are also exciting and clever. Sometimes they're put on an actor or sometimes they're put on a vehicle just to give us a different perspective, whether it's an action scene or a chase scene. I think it is done really tremendously. I usually don't buy the Alfred character as much in the movies just because I'm a little starstruck by the celebrity that's playing them, but I bought Andy Serkis as Alfred in this movie. I don't think there was a whole lot going on with this character, but I like where they took this character's journey. I thought Andy Serkis wasn't too distracting. He didn't feel like he was overacting. It was a little bit different from a lot of other roles that he's done recently. Zoe Kravitz plays Selina Kyle in this movie. She's cunning and she embraces her sensuality. The chemistry between Pattinson and Kravitz works for me. I do think her subplot involving her and John Turturro's character goes on a little bit too long, in my opinion. The movie is 3 hours long, so pacing may feel like an issue for some people. This wasn't so much the case for me. I just wasn't as invested in the subplot as I would like to be. The investigation sequences also feel a little repetitive. This gives the story a lack of urgency, and the momentum can get lost at times. Colin Farrell is great as the Penguin in this. He said he wasn't going to be in the movie a whole lot, so I was thinking maybe 1 or 2 scenes, but he's got a decent amount of screen time in this movie. I also thought the makeup on him was just amazing. He is truly unrecognizable, at least to me. That also has to do with his acting and his performance. I think it's just a great embodiment of the character. He's also involved with my favorite sequence in the movie. I won't spoil it. I'm sure a lot of people might feel the same way as I do. Paul Dano is also great as the Riddler. His performance is about what I expected. There's a lot of yelling, and then there's a lot of times where he's quiet spoken. It kind of goes back and forth, a little unpredictable, which I like. It helps show how berserk his character is. It's great to see how his character and his actions play an impact on Batman and Gotham, which is the type of stuff that I like to see in these types of movies. The city of Gotham is gross to look at, and that's something I've been wanting in a Batman movie. It's spooky, it's dark, it's murky, the architecture designs feel gothic. When I look at that city, when I see the landscapes, I feel the presence of a Gotham City. It's kind of a mixture of Tim Burton's Gotham mixed with Nolan's Gotham, which is just Chicago. It's kind of a mixture of both. I also think it has to do with the color grading, how it's just very dull. Michael Giacchino's score is fantastic. I am not kidding. This is his best work since Inside Out, and that's a long time ago. The Batman theme is really beautiful in the first half, and then the second half, it becomes heavy and epic. I'll really just listen to the score a bunch of times since I've seen the movie. I've had this thing on repeat. The Catwoman theme is swoony, and it fits the feline characteristics. The Riddler's theme is based off of Ave Maria, which is an important aspect of this movie and the character. He really uses the score to enhance the mood so effectively. I just feel like he hasn't done anything like that in a long time, so I was just really impressed with his work. It's just refreshing to see a blockbuster like this. It takes itself seriously, it feels artistic and experimental, but most importantly, it all works well together. This movie, and recently Dune as well, are proof that you don't have to make these vanilla blockbusters where they all feel the same and they have to appeal to everyone. It's nice that DC has their own Suicide Squad, their own Wonder Woman, that has their own different unique tones to it. And then they have this while it is its own completely different thing, different essence. It's a good change of pace, and it's just refreshing to watch. I think the ensemble is really fantastic. Despite the repetitiveness and the subplot not as interesting as the main plot, I still thought it was a solid story. The editing is great. I love the cinematography. The colors pop when necessary. And honestly, Giacchino's score is probably going to be on my Spotify Wrapped by the end of the year. That might be my favorite part of the movie, just the score in general. It seems like everybody is on board to make another one, at least from like little interviews I've seen. Nobody seems disinterested in this. I'm all for more emo grunge Batman movies. Reeves knows how to direct action scenes really cleverly. If Reeves does make another one, I would like to see a villain that maybe we haven't seen on the big screen since maybe before the Nolan movies, or just somebody that we haven't seen on the big screen at all. That's a lot of characters to choose from. But I'm sure whatever Reeves does next, whether it's a Batman movie or something completely different, I'm all on board. I am excited to see more of his work again. I completely understand if this is your favorite Batman movie. There's a lot of great things going on in this movie for me. It might not be my favorite, but I will definitely be returning to this. I think I'm starting to ramble now, so I'm right now gonna give this a 4 out of 5. Well, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching and listening. Did you see the Batman movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know what you thought below. Who would you like to see next as a villain in the Batman movie? But again, thanks for watching this. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you exercise every day. Make sure you drink your milk, and have a great day.